Okay, I want to talk about perspectives. What does it mean to have a perspective? What is a perspective, and what would I do with them? Right? What are they for? Right? There's a point in our life when we want to have the right perspective. I want to see it from the right perspective. But there comes a point in the development of our cognitive abilities. Our consciousness expands to the point where we say, oh, there are lots of valid perspectives. And I want to have as many of them as I can, but I also want to make sure that I know which are the ones that are most valid insofar as they help me solve the problems that I encounter in my life. So just to be able to understand what a perspective is, I want to share with you this is a part of a PowerPoint presentation that I've got, and just so you can see it as clearly as possible, I want to bring it up here like this so that you can see. So a perspective is the capacity to focus on something. We're looking at a particular thing. In this case, a tree, but any kind of object, any kind of idea, any kind of relationship, any structure that I might be paying attention to, I am going to look at. And I'm going to look at it from a place, from the locus of my identity. Here's where I'm looking from. If I'm looking at something from the perspective of who I am as an adult, I'm going to see that differently than when I look at it from the perspective of who I was when I was a child. Or when I look at it when I'm angry, I'm going to see it differently than when I look at it when I am compassionate or when I feel at peace. So where I am coming from at the moment shapes how I see it and what sort of lens I look through. How do I make sense of it? The lens here is a kind of cognitive map by which I make sense of whatever it is that I'm looking at. And together, these three form a perspective. When I'm looking at a particular object from a particular locus through a particular lens, I'm adopting a perspective. So let me give you some examples of this in a graphic sense. When you look at this picture, it looks like, okay, it's a crowd scene somewhere in a mall. There's something, what is that? A kind of a bench there. But it's hard to see what this really is. So we're going to change our perspective, and I'm going to move to look at it from a different point of view here. Yeah, you see that? Oops, wrong way. It's this, and then you shift the perspective. You move a little bit, about 8 feet to the right, and then you see this. I'll go back again. So you can see how the perspective, as I move to this perspective, I become able to see it with greater clarity and meaning. It makes sense to me now. Okay, so here's another one, right? Any idea what that is? From this point of view, from this locus, it's hard to make any sense of this. When I go around to the other side, I see this. All right, and we'll go back. Now you see from this picture, you can see that tripod back there, and there's that little sight piece there. That's what we're looking through when we go here. And from this, when you look from that sight piece, then this is what you see, and it makes sense. Now, a part of what happens when we do this is that we come to a place where we now actually are making sense of this thing from a particular perspective. And because it makes sense from that perspective, we are drawn to that perspective. So when I have come to a locus of understanding and I have a lens that I can look through that allows it to make sense of something, I say, this is what it is. This is that. And we lose the capacity to see that, in fact, there are other perspectives that we can look from, that I can look at it from another point of view, and it may have different meaning, or it may have more meaning, or it may be more useful. So basically what we want to be able to do here is to take the opportunity to see from as many perspectives as possible. The more perspectives I have, the more I can see with depth. All right?